You call it safety. It's a cage. And you built the bars yourself, one excuse at a time. Every morning you choose the same bed, the same route, the same safe little version of your life. You tell yourself you're being smart, patient, strategic. You are not. You are hiding. And some part of you has known that for a long time. Look at your life right now. Really look. How much of it is built around avoiding discomfort? The job you hate but won't leave. The conversation you keep postponing. The body you keep neglecting because starting feels harder than staying the same. The dream you've downgraded so many times it no longer resembles a dream, it resembles an apology. None of that is peace. That's decay wearing a calm face. Rule 1, comfort doesn't protect you. It erodes you. Slowly. Like rust eating through iron nobody bothers to use. Rule 2, the fear you feel before a hard choice isn't a warning sign. It's a test. And you keep failing it, on purpose. Rule 3, every time you choose the easy path, you cast a vote for the person you don't want to become. Do it enough times, and that person wins the election. Permanently. Rule 4, your comfort zone was never peace. It's a slow surrender you've trained yourself to call balance. You already know this. Somewhere beneath the noise of your day, underneath the scrolling and the distractions, you know it. That's why the guilt doesn't fully leave you at night. That's why nothing satisfies you the way it used to. You've built a life optimized for not feeling pain, and in the process, you stopped feeling anything at all. You traded aliveness for numbness, and called it maturity. Think about the last time you were truly proud of yourself. Was it the day you stayed home? Or the day you did the thing that scared you? You already know the answer. You've just been avoiding it, the same way you avoid everything else that matters. Rule 5, avoidance doesn't remove the problem. It just rents you a smaller life to hide it in. And rent is due every single day, whether you pay it in regret or in effort. Here is what makes it worse. You are not even comfortable in your comfort zone. Watch yourself closely. The anxiety doesn't disappear when you avoid the hard thing. It just changes shape. It becomes low-grade dread that follows you into every quiet moment. You didn't escape the fire. You just moved into a room that's slowly filling with smoke, and told yourself it was fine because at least there were no flames yet. Look at how you actually spend your evenings. The scrolling that doesn't entertain you anymore, but you keep doing it because stopping means sitting with yourself, and sitting with yourself means facing the list of things you haven't done. The list keeps growing. And every night you add one more item to it, you also add one more piece of evidence to the case against you, the case that says you are someone who talks, and doesn't act. You've mistaken numbness for peace so many times that you no longer remember what real peace feels like. Real peace isn't the absence of a racing mind at midnight. Real peace is the quiet of a person who did the hard thing today, and has nothing left to dread. You have never met that version of quiet. Not because it's rare. Because you keep choosing the other one. And notice something else. The people you admire most, the ones you watch from a distance and think, I wish I had that discipline. None of them got there by protecting their comfort. Every single one of them has a story that starts with a version of themselves who was terrified, and did it anyway. You keep waiting for your fear to disappear before you act. It never worked for them. It will not work for you either. But here's what no one tells you. The comfort zone was never a place outside you. It's not your bed, your city, your job, your relationship. It is a boundary drawn entirely inside your own mind. And reinforced every single time you flinch instead of act. There is no wall. There never was. You've been circling a cage with an open door, mistaking the open door for danger. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is Rule 6. Your discomfort was never proof of danger. It is information. Nothing more. And weak minds mistake information for a threat, then spend years negotiating with a threat that was never real. Do this today. Name one thing you have been avoiding for weeks. Not someday. Today. Then complete the smallest possible version of it in the next 10 minutes. Don't plan it. Don't prepare a speech about it. Don't wait for Monday, for the new year, for the right mindset. Execute it. That is Rule 7. Movement kills fear faster than any amount of thinking ever will. Thinking is where courage goes to die. Epictetus taught, in essence, this is a paraphrase of his core teaching, that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. The cold gym. The hard conversation. The blank page staring back at you. None of it is your enemy. Your interpretation of it is the only enemy you have ever fought. That is Rule 8. Consider the man who was once a slave, in chains, owning nothing, controlling nothing about his outer circumstances, and still became one of history's most disciplined minds. He didn't wait for freedom to practice mastery of himself. He practiced it inside the cage, because he understood the cage was never the real obstacle. If a man in chains could master his mind, your unmade phone call is not the mountain you've built it up to be. Do this today. Take the task you've mentally labeled too hard, and relabel it neutral. Strip the emotion out of it. It is not a monster. It is a task. Then begin before you feel ready. That is Rule 9. Readiness is a myth that weak minds invent to justify staying still. There is no version of you, 5 years from now, who feels ready without ever having started. Seneca wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." That is Rule 10. The failure you fear has already cost you more in your head, in sleepless nights and rehearsed disasters, than it would ever cost you in the real world. You have already lived through the worst version of this 100 times in your imagination, and each time, it cost you sleep, peace, and momentum. For a disaster that hasn't even happened, and likely never will. Do this today. Write down the worst realistic outcome of the thing you keep avoiding. Not the catastrophized version. The realistic one. Read it back. Notice that it is survivable. That is Rule 11. Survivable fear is not a reason to stop. It is an excuse wearing a disguise, and you've been letting it drive. Notice the pattern. Every principle you've just heard points to the same brutal truth: the obstacle was never external. It was you, negotiating with your own weakness, and calling the negotiation self-care. Self-care doesn't need a script written by your fear. Discipline isn't motivation. Motivation is a mood, and moods are unreliable weather, here today, gone by lunchtime. Discipline is a decision you make when the mood has already left the room. That is Rule 12. The undisciplined man waits to feel like doing the hard thing, and waits, until waiting becomes his entire personality. The disciplined man does it without asking his feelings for permission. He treats his feelings as weather, not as command. And there is one more truth underneath all 12 rules. A more fatty. Don't just tolerate the hard path. Choose it, like it already belongs to you. Because it does. Every obstacle in front of you is not blocking your path. It is the path. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote that the impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. The busy street doesn't stop the river. The river reshapes around it, and keeps moving, colder and stronger for the resistance. Think about the difference between a man dragged through hardship, and a man who walks into it willingly. Same hardship. Same weight. Completely different outcome. The one dragged arrives broken, resentful, asking why this happened to him. The one who walked in arrives sharpened, because he never wasted energy fighting the fact that it was happening at all. He spent that energy adapting instead. That is the entire difference between a slave to circumstance and a master of it, not the circumstance itself, but where the energy goes. You don't get to choose whether hard things happen to you. You never did. That was always outside your control, and pretending otherwise is exactly the kind of weak thinking these rules were built to destroy. What you choose is the stance you take the moment before it happens. Flinch, or advance. Complain, or adapt. Every single day gives you that choice again, disguised as something small. An alarm you don't want to hear, a message you don't want to send, a mirror you don't want to face. Stop asking when you'll finally be ready. You won't be. Ready is a story comfortable people tell themselves to justify staying comfortable for one more day, one more week, one more year. Until the years run out and the story is the only thing they ever finished. Picture the version of you that walked out of the cage instead of asking for a bigger cell. He didn't wait for confidence. He built it, one uncomfortable action at a time, the same way you build muscle, under load, under resistance, never under comfort. Confidence was never the starting point. It was always the reward for people who started without it. Every rule you just heard is useless if you close this video and change nothing. The cage doesn't care how many Stoic quotes you've memorized. It only responds to action. Knowledge without action is just decoration for a mind that still refuses to move. So don't finish this video and go back to the same bed, the same excuse, the same rust. You can watch 100 more videos like this one. You can collect quotes the way other people collect apologies, a growing pile of things that sound meaningful and change nothing. Or you can close this video and do the one thing you've been circling for months. Only one of those paths leads anywhere. The other just leads back here, to another video, another list of rules you'll nod along to and forget by tomorrow. Ask yourself, honestly, how many years you've spent circling the same open door. How many versions of someday you've already buried. The door hasn't moved. You have simply gotten better at walking past it and calling it wisdom. Somewhere out there is a version of you who took the leap on the day you're about to let slip by. He is not more talented than you. He does not have less fear than you. He simply stopped negotiating with it. He looked at the same open door you're looking at right now, and instead of measuring the risk one more time, he walked. That version of you is not a fantasy. He is a decision away. He has been a decision away this entire time. The weak mind asks, what if I fail? The disciplined mind asks, what if I stay exactly like this for another 10 years? Sit with that second question for a moment. Really sit with it. That is the only fear worth having. Marcus Aurelius asked himself, in his private notebook, meant for no one else's eyes, how much longer he would wait to demand the best of himself. Ask yourself the same question. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not after this video ends and the next one begins, feeding you more words to avoid one more action. The 12 rules end here. But the test they measure never does. Every day gives you a new open door and a new excuse standing beside it. Which one you walk toward is the only philosophy that has ever actually mattered. You don't control the world. You control yourself. And that is enough.